On Tuesday, local residents were invited to AFC Bournemouth to take a look at some of the plans, designs and information regarding the expansion of the Vitality Stadium from 11,300 to 20,200. Now, as you can see, we're here at the Queen's Park, the home of AFC Bournemouth supporters on a match day, just a stone's throw from the stadium. So it was in their interest to, of course, get some information about what is going on with regards to the new stadium. Luckily for them, they had a representative in me that would go along and find out just what's going on. Tom, you live a stone's throw away though. I didn't see you there. What's going on?
I'm gonna pop down on Monday, you know, with my people.
Okay.
Do you know what I mean? No, you went down there. You're not around Monday, so we'll go down there. But yeah, all looks pretty exciting, mate. It's still a bit pinch me. When I see the plans and that, I'm like, that can't be. Are we big?
Are we big? And look, it is just me and Tom today recording this pod, but we'd love your views in the comments. And like we said on an earlier video, live shows are returning too here on Back of the Net, which means you can get involved. So make sure you write down some of your opinions, because we want you to be part of the conversation as we talk about the expansion of a brand new Dean Court. So, just in case I didn't do the introductions, hello, we've had a few subscribers recently. My name's Sam Davis.
My name's Tom Jordan.
Thank you for subscribing. If you haven't, you can do a couple of things, actually.
Oh, there's a massive, big, fat subscribe button, so just click that. And then while you're there, you might as well click the like and the bell as well. We really appreciate it. And yeah, we've had a few more lately. We've gone over the 20,500 mark, just like the stadium's going to be doing. So, yeah, happy days. So, yeah, please do that. We appreciate it.
So last Tuesday, it was a meeting for local residents only, and there will be another for the rest of us. That's on July the 21st between 3:30 and 8 p.m. I think you need to signal your intent of actually attending by just sending a quick email to ops@afcb.co.uk. It must be said, the event on Tuesday, it was just local residents only, but it was very, very busy. And I've got some footage that I'm showing to people that are watching here on YouTube. Fans were ushered up into the Cherry Orchard for tea and coffee. Haven't been there in a while. 1910 bar. I've done hospitality a couple of times, but after that, fans were going up in large groups into the top floor restaurant. So just to explain what was happening in the Cherry Orchard, or the 1910 as you know it, people were just sat down, kind of waiting to be called up. They had biscuits on hand as well. Helped us have a few bourbons and chocolate chip cookies.
Bet you did.
Absolutely love that. And then when you go up to the top floor restaurant, they've got basically a series of, pull-up banners, just like we've got to Tom's left here, and it takes you through the history of the club, a look at the stadium now, why it's not enough, also presenting the vision and the proposals for an expanded Dean Court, how the project would work in terms of kind of the basic logistics and timescales, the economic and social benefits, how it will affect transport and movement, and also looking at environmental factors as well, such as noise.
Just that ambulance.
That came at a right time.
Sinstera training or something. Oh, God.
Air quality, contamination, and also daylight as well, i.e. how much it will take away from the local residents, and also how the lighting would look at night too, the sort of artificial lighting to keep it lit. So also a look at biodiversity, the landscape and flood risk as well. So you're taken round and you're just sort of walking through, and, dotted around there was various sort of key people. I spoke to Zoe Rundle briefly from the media team. Jim Pravola was also around too, had a good chat with him, plus a number of people that don't directly work for the club, but will be working for the club with regards to this specific project. So it's great to attend if you've got a few questions to ask. However, one thing I would say, and I'm not trying to do the club's work here, because we're going to try to, on this video, explain exactly what we saw, but there was a lot of people, even at the local residents thing. So if you're claustrophobic or whatever, or if you don't deal well with people moving slowly around rooms or just like dawdling a bit, as I was trying to take photos of things, and people just stood in front of the banners. It's like, can you just move on a little bit? That was a little bit frustrating.
I'm Sam from Back of the Net.
Yeah, come on, get out of the way. But also, mate, I'm going to tell you something. Well, you know this.
No.
But also, if you have like some issues in loud environments, mate, I've got issues.
Have you?
Yeah,
What issues?
Hearing issues. Shall I tell the people at home? Mate, I've got a hearing aid in.
I know, you look like an absolute...
Yeah, you can't see it, but I'm going to look to get one of those one in ear.
Yeah, do that.
It happened over the course of I don't know, it's been happening over the course of the last year or two. I had I think I had some kind of flu or COVID 2 years ago, and then one day I woke up, I was like, oh, I swear my hearing's not as good here, and yeah, it's just been slowly getting worse over time, and I had MRI scans and stuff and all that kind of stuff. I've got, you know what it's called? Ossicular fixation, mate, in my left ear only.
Pardon?
Exactly. So it's so debilitating, and I wasn't wearing a hearing aid. I haven't really been, but now I've forced myself to buy one. Yeah. So if you see something behind my ear at games this season, it's not an earpiece to Andoni. It's me just being able to hear better, but I'm looking to get one of those in-ear ones.
I know
I'm
you
not a big fan of it.
Helps you be able to hear, which is quite important, but it isn't it.
Yeah.
that is an ick.
Mate, there are people that are watching this that have probably got them, so I apologise now.
I ain't listening, are they? I'm joking. No, it's good, mate, to get your ear, because you've been a nightmare. It's tough for me. I think that's what people need to appreciate.
Yeah.
It's really difficult for me.
I had to text
when you can't hear, so I almost get sympathy pains as well sometimes. That I start losing my own because I'm feeling for you so much.
I had to text a few people and apologise for if I seemed a bit spaced out, because one thing I have been doing in loud environments, I've had to almost lip read. I mean, I can hear fine out of that ear, but sometimes I'm looking at your mouth quite a lot. I'm not kind of doing this subliminal pucker up, Tom. I'm ready to go.
That's why I always kiss him, because that's what I think.
Yeah,
that's really.
So anyway, if it's kind of loud environments and really busy environments aren't for you, then maybe avoid that one. As well. Right. Okay. That's the admin done. Right, to people on YouTube, you can watch this. However, the people that are listening on the podcast are just going to hear Tom's commentary here. So, Tom, I'm just going to play you this sort of 2-minute video that's going on, and look, just tell me your initial thoughts about what you saw from this presentation, because it gives a lovely sweeping shot from Bournemouth Pier, going over the centre of town and then slowly into Springbourne, where the stadium is now. This is kind of using Google Earth footage by the looks of it. But then it shows what it will look like, and that looks a beast, doesn't it?
It does. I mean, it's still very strange that that's going to be our home, if you like, and that's how it's going to look. But yeah, the quality of it looks so obviously modern. It just looks like a proper. That is where European moment, but Premier League football, that's a Premier League ground. Do you know what I mean? And it's really nice. It's been overdue, hasn't it? But yeah, it's absolutely gorgeous. So what's this bit? So this is the fan zone, isn't it?
Yeah, that's the fan zone. So that's in the southwest corner. So most people congregate by the Great Escape at the moment. They'll probably still have bars there still as well, but I think that's where there'll be live music and lots of different events going on.
Really cool. And then I like around the side, obviously, because normally you have to go into your own concourse and just kind of, so it looks like you've just got so much more room to kind of meet up with people beforehand and just kind of filter about.
And you can see the perimeter turnstiles as well there. So where you can see the red bits, that's where you get wandered and searched, which means once you're in, you're in, which is a really good thing. But all around, I just think it looks absolutely
I can't believe we've got another tier there. Look at that, another deck.
Yeah.
I can't believe it. Why have we got another deck? We used to, what about the tree? Remember that tree? What was that thing you were saying about the other day? It used to be a view from the tree, didn't there?
Yeah, there used to be a fanzine called View from the Tree. Yeah, because many a young lad would climb that tree to go and watch matches at the Fitness First Stadium or whatever it was then, Seawood Stadium.
But yeah, it does look really cool. I don't know what that is. The fan zone home only? Is there going to be an away? Did anyone find out about that?
I've got a feeling it will just be home only, but I like the fact you can walk underneath the stand in a sort of tunnel, and then you're coming up into the ground, and that's obviously the view you're seeing. Reminds me a bit of the Poundland Stadium. It's not called that anymore at Walsall, but the best spot.
That's a stadium that everyone passes, isn't it? But yeah, I love this picture there.
Yeah,
that one there, lovely view. It's gonna be great under that first game under the lights.
No,
it is really exciting, and I don't know what, it's weird because you hear about all the plans, and obviously I find, I don't know if other people, I find it really hard to visualise when you hear about it's going to be like this and there's going to be that there. I think,
and you're not someone that deals with change very well.
No. That's why I've got a season ticket. And I like to stay where I am. And if anyone goes, do you want to move? Should we move back a few rows? Shut up. So we'll be interested to see what my mate wants to do in terms of, we obviously don't know what's going to happen, whether existing season ticket holders are then told, priority to go over to the south, maybe, I don't know, to the 10 Max, sorry, but yeah, we'll see. But yeah, I'm not the best with change, but it's certainly a positive change. So and it's been overdue, and fair play to Foley and everyone at the club, because it's something we spoke about this before when we spoke about the ownership, that it was always something that Max couldn't quite provide. He was absolutely brilliant before. If you want to take that next step, that was it, and kind of leaving that blueprint on the club, and that's obviously what they're going to do. And I tell you what, the timescale and stuff, I think, Jesus, fair play. It's obviously going to be the easiest way of saying it, without being, obviously it's not literally this, but it's more going to be built away and then almost come in like a jigsaw puzzle. Yeah. And you clip it all in, and which that blows my mind. I don't understand. I don't understand anything. Like, everyone watching this knows that Tom doesn't look like someone that's like manual laboury stuff. And Do you
remember when we used to film shows at my mum's? Yeah. And sometimes my mum would have like a third of a jigsaw puzzle, done on a table, and you just literally turn up and find 5 pieces immediately. Maybe they could hire you to be part of the construction process, because this guy knows how to put things together pretty quickly. But the timescale, we're going to go through all that. I mean, firstly, I suppose it's worth talking about, there are some people out there that are disappointed by the fact that this is a redevelopment rather than a brand new facility. But I think, by the sounds of it, the issue is just simply down to money. On this occasion, I think that Jim said it, and Bill said it as well. The expansion of what we've got now costs about a third of what a new stadium does. Of course, a new stadium, that would involve creating a lot more infrastructure around it than what expanding the current one would do. That means like brand new foundations, of course, would have been required, as opposed to at the moment, some foundations may be needing strengthening, putting in new access roads. It'll have involved relocating the athletic stadium as well, of course, and also Bournemouth Park Run would have been in the mud, because they start just next to the athletic track. What would they have done?
Well done. How did you manage to get a Park Run reference in?
Mate, there's a lot to keep in mind. That's what I'm saying. By the way, I thought that Amy, who organises Bournemouth Park Run, like one of the run directors or whatever, and Chris, part of the fan advisory board, I thought their chat with Jim Favola on YouTube, which the club screened a good hour of it, that came across really well, by the way. So
it was very good.
Credit to you guys that were involved, and credit to the club as well, because that's one of the things, like. And I've said this before, and I may have said this on the pod. Like, do you remember when we spoke initially about the pre-season friendlies? And I think we tweeted. We didn't. Maybe it was a passive-aggressive tweet, but it was just a factual tweet that said we're only playing one pre-season friendly domestically that fans can go to. Yeah. But it was just laying down the facts. There wasn't any opinion with it. But I think some people may have deemed that as a criticism, which, maybe it was, because we weren't given the information at the time. Then Jim, pops up on this video and says, well, the reason, we would have loved to have more, but we can't, because the pitch is being relayed quite late this season.
Fine. So I think it's...
Why didn't they say that?
Yeah, I think fans really... There must have been reason why they couldn't say it straight away, potentially. We don't know. But I think when you see videos like that, it just reiterates the fact that I think fans, and obviously we are fans, so we can't speak for all of them, but a lot of the opinions you get is transparency, is what everyone loves, transparency. And I think there's certain things that fans think there should be more transparency about, but when things are done like that, it's really nice, because everyone goes, that's what we just want to know why.
Yeah, we just want to know.
And that makes perfect sense. But when you're speculating all the time, it's really difficult. But that come across really well, mate.
What's weird about those kind of two different ownerships that we've had? Under Max, there were less things for fans to get involved in, to sink their teeth into, whereas now
a lot of new stuff.
It feels like, with Jim having a Twitter account, which initially he was really active on. I think some of the replies that he's got that have been fairly regular and frequent, even about certain issues, there must be some that he's just like, I can't be dealing with this, and just probably doesn't log in as much as he used to, which I can sort of understand. But in the same breath, I like sort of things like that, and maybe they could do those kind of things for other decisions. So, for instance, the BJ88 shirt sponsorship, so things that fans have been, quite irate about, but that kind of transparency goes down well, doesn't it?
Oh, it does, absolutely does, mate. And like I said, I do think that, and you put I'm not saying simple in a horrible way at all, because it was a very good video, but you put a simple video like that out and suddenly fans go, that's what, just a bit of transparency, like you're saying. Don't get me wrong, we're not stupid. I'm sure there's a lot of things that they just can't. They're just not allowed to yet. And we've got to kind of appreciate that. But it's, things like that go a long way, I think, And I think in general, it's going in the right direction for sure.
Because he has toned down his presence in some ways, but those little sound bites, I think, really do help. And whilst they're being ultra transparent, that also sort of means you're more accessible in some ways as well, by having social media accounts, which means you are inviting
absolutely
that kind of criticism.
I mean, I could probably speak even from my perspective. I got rid of the bloody thing, Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it, because I didn't need to have it, to be fair, but I was and it got too much, so I totally appreciate that. But I think
you had like near on 6,000 followers.
I don't know, actually. Yeah, I was actually. Yeah.
What a waste.
He used to get that many in home games. But now look at us. But yeah, I think in general it's important, but there's got to be a balance to it, like everything. And I think they're as you say, sound bites like that are really important. They're really important to everyone. And I think the passionate side of it, I think they would have. It must take, not by surprise, I don't think it's the right word, but they must have been like, it might have even been the positive. Like, look, I remember things, like when a really good example, I think, is I'm sure you would have seen it, the Sunderland Till I Die documentary. Yeah. And suddenly there was people watching it that would then I actually saw Ricky Gervais never liked football.
Yeah.
And he said that got him into football again.
Wow.
Because you watch it and you go, oh my God, these people are literally, they work all week just for the football, and that's life.
Yeah.
And their whole week is ruined if Sunderland lose a game. And that's, I think you realise sometimes just how much it means to people. And I think that must have, if you're coming from the States, then coming here to, a new sport, if you like, then it must have taken them by surprise a little bit.
So, look, if we go back to the stadium, one of the things why people wanted maybe a newer stadium was, at the moment, the proximity to housing, especially on two sides of our stadium. Now, it's going to be a phased expansion with the total capacity being 20,200, but what if we need something after that? What if we manage to fill it easy? Well, of course, there could be a main stand recalibration and perhaps a total rebuild of that could take us up to, 25, 26,000 perhaps. But then, what if we fill that? What can we do after that? I don't think there is a lot. I mean, 20,000 at the moment is just 5% of the whole BCP catchment, I think.
Yeah.
Could we get more than that? We don't know. Maybe we need to be checking out Rightmove and snapping up houses on Thistlebarrow Road and Middleton Gardens behind the East Stand, just in case, because you never know. We might have to do what Liverpool did with the expansion of Anfield. Just buy up a load of houses. It's fine.
Yeah.
Why not? But that's what we're doing. I think it's the sensible move, given the financial constraints.
Yeah.
Well, not the financial constraints, but it just makes sense.
Makes sense,
right?
yeah. And I don't, as you say, I don't like change. There's less change. So
Exactly. And it probably does enable us to have a chance to see exactly where we're at. So, right, in terms of the design, love the fact that there's going to be a turnstile perimeter.
Yep.
We saw that. It's more of an American thing.
We
saw that at the LA Galaxy Stadium, didn't we?
Yeah, we went to America, didn't we?
Yes, we did.
About a year ago, actually.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, we did. And still waiting for the tickets this year. I'm not sure they're going to come. I'm still waiting for Sam to just surprise me, and we're going in a few days.
We're going. No.
But the LA Galaxy Stadium, I really liked it there as well. It's really cool.
Because you get turnstile on the outside, and then after that, you can roam wherever you want.
Yeah, just walk about. It's lovely, and spend about 100 quid on a pint. But no, it's really nice in there.
I presume that they must have, surely though, some kind of like soft ticket checks or something by each stand to make sure that people are going in the right place. Because
I would have thought so. Yeah, I would have. I would have thought so. If they haven't, that thought of just someone watching this going, we haven't done that.
Yeah.
But no, I'm sure it will all. But it will be. There are loads of little things that you don't think about that you just mentioned. But they probably will. Yeah, I'm sure you'll have to show it to get into every section or whatever.
So in terms of the fan zone, then that's going to be inside the turnstile perimeter. Is that going to maybe subliminally retrain people to get there earlier and enjoy the kind of
essentially
pre-match? Because at the moment, you don't have to see anything pre-match. You can literally just walk up to the stand. I know you're walking through all the stuff.
Yeah, but you can just...
Yeah, when you've got... Is that going to maybe try to encourage people to come earlier? And
maybe.
What does it also mean for places like this?
Well, I think there'll certainly be a novelty at the start, I'm sure.
Yeah.
And I think everyone, like I say, this place will recognise that. I think people, particularly myself, football fans have routines and like that. I think there will definitely be a lot of people. It'll be interesting to see whether they do more stuff for like kids in and around it.
Yeah.
Because I reckon kids will want to get there early if they're with families. I wonder if people that always do their kind of pub stuff, and a lot of people have them routines and they have their food certain places. I don't think that will change too much. Because it won't for me, but there certainly will be a novelty at the start to check it out. And interestingly, I don't know what happens after the game. So
yeah, I mean, they might be showing the football.
That's what I mean. It's normally like if you're,
whatever.
And it might encourage people to also go, I'll have a pint here after the game, or and even if you drive, you go, I might as well just stay and have a soft drink and wait for the traffic and stuff and stay in here. So be that, but that'll all be things that I think will be trial and error for people, and we'll realise quite quickly, because there's no disrespect to it at all, but there was a while with the, I want to call them tents, after the game, that there were quite a lot of people there, and I went because it was a novel. It was like new. Now I don't think really any, because I don't.
But I think the good weather's had a part to play in that as well, because the Great Escape's been heaving, and that's been a really nice atmosphere. But in some ways, I'm concerned because, you know, for places like the Queen's Park, you know, match day is what keeps this place running, and obviously, I suppose there are two ways to go about it, because, you know, to think of it, because whilst there will be some people that might be tempted over to the fan zone, there will be more fans in total that are going. So therefore, the kind of numbers that this place might be getting might not be affected. It's going to be a staged
out a little bit.
A staged development. So it'll be like 16,000, 16 and a half, and then season or maybe two after that to 20,000, 200. So maybe that'll...
I'll guarantee one thing out of all of this.
What?
It'll be cheaper for a pint in there.
Well, exactly. It'll be cheaper for a pint in the QP. We certainly know that. And I don't think the club have got a raffle where you can win cold hard cash. And so obviously we're concerned about, you know, the future of places like this, but we're going to do our very best to get people through the door when we can here at the QP, of course. So the design of the stadium, I mean, it's ultra intriguing, I've got to say. So a 7,000 capacity south stand, almost like your kind of yellow wall, or what they got at, like, you know, Tottenham Hotspur. Interestingly, I saw a tweet on Vitals that showed other stands that have got similar sizes. So the Sir Alf Ramsey stand at Portman Road.
Yeah,
7,000 at Leeds. The Don Revie stand at Elland Road, including the corners, is 7,000. The Barclay end at Carrow Road, it will be bigger than that. That is just under 6.5. The Trent end at the City Ground, that is 7.5, so just a bit bigger.
They'll be, by the way, City Ground, they'll be well happy, Nottingham Forest fans, that we've sorted that out, because a bit of wind in that place. Currently, that place goes down, so you're welcome. And
also the Darwin end at Ewood Park with 8,000 as well. So, I mean, in terms of the size, it really does look pretty impressive. Now, what I would love to have is that to be for fans that are vocal. I think it'd be incredible that we could have that. You know, that's what the North Stand always has been. It used to be the South End at the old Dean Court. They sort of got moved to the North. And I would hope that the club would kind of market the kind of South Stand move as a place for the people that want to be audible.
Yes.
Would go. I don't want to, and I wrote this somewhere else, I don't want to come across as, you know, discriminative, but I would love for the South Stand to be for people that actively want to contribute to the noise, as opposed to people that just want to sit there and be part of it. Absolutely. Which you get a lot.
Yeah, and you can be that. No one has to be a certain fan, but in that sense. But I think even people that don't get involved, like if there's a stand that, and people will actually prefer it to go, oh, I know that's where they are, so I'll go over it. I think it works for everyone, and you do need it. I mean, every single club and, you know, staff and players all talk about it. You need that an atmosphere, and if we can get it all sucked into one end, that'd be perfect, I think, mate.
Yeah, I mean, over the years, I think with the North Stand, obviously you've got the core set of fans that chant sort of week in, week out. They're, you know, of the older set, they're the ones that were kind of always in the South End. But then during the noughties, of course, when we got low attendances, you had your kids that are joining, your younger fans that are now probably in their 20s, maybe even 30s or whatever, and they join them to create a decent atmosphere. But at the same time, during our rise through the leagues, we start to then sell out on a regular basis, like week in, week out. And look, people change, people get older, and there are some people in the North Stand that maybe don't vocally contribute anymore, which for me, it's a bit frustrating. I mean, I roam from stand to stand, but when I want to sing, I almost feel sometimes a little bit embarrassed because there might be, you know, like a clutch of people around me that don't want to do it. So it would be...
And you're a nice guy. I'm a dickhead, I'll do it anyway. But I know what you mean. It'd be nice to have a core.
Yeah, and
even if I'm not in it, I don't care. Like, I just want, you need something. Like, I'd love to be, but it tends to happen on away games a lot, and everyone always says that away atmospheres are better. And the only time it isn't is if it just, say it gets moved, then you think, they're not here today, or you know, always scattered around. But most of the time, it's just, you can just tell where it is. And quite often on away games, especially if they're not sold out, particularly remember in the lower leagues, everyone will go, the singers are over there, and just go over to them if you wanted to sing. So it'd be great to do that, and I'm sure that's something that the club will be, you know, be wary of. And also, I couldn't think of wary sounds negative. What's the positive word for wary of?
Appreciative.
Yeah, or aware.
Yeah.
of that being a thing, and that's really important. So it wouldn't surprise me if they look at doing something like that.
And look, at the end of the day, if you enjoy the seat that you're in and you don't really contribute to the noise, you just stay where you sat. That's absolutely fine in the North Stand. So, I would absolutely love that to be where the kind of vocal fans would go. I'm also wondering where the away fans would go as well. I've got a feeling when you actually look at the plans, whilst there are like 3D fly around of the stadium, it doesn't overly show where they're going to go. However, to me, it probably makes sense that they actually stay exactly where they are in the East Stand, because I think logistically, when you have away fans in, you need to have separate egress routes, which was a word that I didn't even know until I heard Bill Foley. That means exit routes, basically. And you don't really want fans to be mingling as they exit. Now, at the East Stand at the moment, fans are encouraged to then go out onto that public footpath behind, where the training ground is, the old training ground is, which means that it's kind of more dispersed. I think so it probably makes sense to have them there, and then maybe home fans in the East Stand can then exit behind the North Stand and out the other way. Do you always want, from your perspective, do you always want away fans that come here to speak positively about the stadium and stuff when they come here? Because I don't. Really?
I'm the opposite. I want them to have a really bad time. Really? I want it to be... when you used to play like Sunday League or something? Yeah. The worst thing, you go somewhere, they don't even give you a change room, but he puts you in a bad mind. That's what I want. It's all about us. We don't care about you.
Yeah, just make it really, really basic for them.
Newcastle benefits so much because I think it's almost an unfair advantage at times. Yeah. They're the only... you're so far away. And when we spoke to Brooksy, we asked them, can you actually hear us? And they were kind of, not really.
Well, I thought that one of the Premier League directives was that away fans had to be placed in a position that was kind of started at the perimeter of the pitch and then worked its way up. For some reason, Newcastle's unaffected, so we're put right at the top, which doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah, and it's harder. I mean, we go there and win 4-1, but a lot of teams struggle. I mean, we never actually lose there, but so I don't know what I'm on about. But I'm not being literal, but you know what I'm trying to say. That sometimes I think actually it's not bad if I like him in the court. I don't want them to have a hole behind the goal. They're not having that, but. I always think it's an advantage if you're an away fan. You get to go behind. We always prefer it behind a goal.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, what would you think about? I mean, at the moment, obviously, the there is a vocal element in the South Stand, as we know, but the original vocal element was always in the North Stand. Having the away fans so far away from the North Stand, do you think it would maybe benefit having the vocal home and away close together?
Absolutely.
That's what Southampton used to have.
Absolutely.
First season they changed it. Yeah, they got relegated.
They always get relegated.
That's what I'm saying.
Well, don't bring them up because they haven't commented at all on our new stadium.
No, of course they haven't.
Because they don't care about us, so why would they comment? I might start doing that. Just start making comments about like gardening programs because I don't care about gardening. So apparently that's what you talk about. I've always thought that. And there's sometimes when we're the vocal, when I say we're, I'm in the North Stand, and you can see the away fans chanting at the South, saying about the support, the bit of banter, and you're like, but that's because we're the singers over here. But it's I think banter's a lot of it. A lot of it gets the atmosphere going.
Yeah, so it would be good. And
if you're right next to them,
we're trying to create an impression. So we want to be louder than them. So if we can drown out their noise, oh my God, just that end of the stadium would be superb. And surely, in terms of the noise pollution, it's better for the local residents, surely, in Thistlebarrow Road, to have the fans a bit further away in the South Stand than it is a load of boisterous fans in the North Stand. That's all I'm saying. Elaine Findlay, if you're still around, is she still about? No idea. But either way... Questions have been asked about what should the stand be called?
Oh, good shout.
The South Stand.
The Jebba. Oh. I was going to do Dan Jebba. So the South. It can't just be South Stand. Let's do something. It could be creative.
Shall I read out a few suggestions that I've been seeing from Twitter and the forum?
Go on.
Of course, it could still be the Ted McDougall Stand.
Of course.
But because it's a big one, call it the Big Mac.
Oh, I tell you what, I quite like that because you got to keep Ted in.
Jim Frivola, if you're listening, you could work in a sponsorship opportunity with McDonald's there. Have a little McDonald's on the... That's all I'm saying. What? It could be the Boscombe Beach end. Yeah. Because that end is literally where Boscombe Beach is. It could be called the Bill Foley Mega Stand.
Bill Foley's new deck. Oh, the top one it'd be separate than Bill Foley's new deck. There you go.
It could be named after someone else, like Eddie Howe or something, but I don't know.
Why does it still get me, like, when you say his name, I go, oh, fuck it.
It's weird, though, isn't it? Because I would feel awkward about having a stand named after him whilst he's still in football.
Whilst he's coming there and never winning.
Someone else. But I feel as though at some point we really do need some permanent mention of this guy. I just don't know, how we do it.
I think a lot of it is difficult because, like you say, we're competing against him. Yeah. So I think he would also be like, I don't want anything now. Do you know what I mean?
Maybe later.
Yeah, maybe later, I'm sure. But what was I going to say?
Hey.
Could you be really take a real gamble and the first player to score? that would get him up for it, though, wouldn't it? First game, whoever scores, you get that stat.
Yeah. So if he plays the Louis Sinistera stand, and then he never plays ever again.
Yeah.
It could be named after. I saw this on one of the forums. So it's not my joke, but one of the local pubs that's located before. For instance, like in Folkestone, there's the Bell. It could be called the Bell End.
Yeah, I don't know what reference that means, but yeah, that's a good one.
But isn't it weird though, when you think about it, the old South End faced in a completely different direction.
I never understand.
I think it's a southwesterly facing stadium or whatever it is. But yeah, it's
I would out of them suggestions, let us know obviously if you've got any more, whether they're just funny or they're actual serious. I think, because I thought about that, I thought, no, you got to get rid of Tim. But the Big Mac, I like that.
Yeah,
I do like that. The Big Mac. Yeah, I do.
But one of the things that from looking at the pictures is very clear, we've still got that authentic feeling of being really close to the pitch, which I think is like really ultra important. In terms of the phases, it'll be done in a couple by the looks of it, and we'll pop some graphics on screen whilst we're talking about it. The first is the new South Stand. I spoke to the project manager. I think it was some other abbreviation, but I can't remember what it was. He's basically the guy that's supposed to be overseeing it when I was at this meeting. And I think the company that's doing the actual stands are called Stadium Structures, and they've done a load in America. And apparently, whatever company this guy was working for was saying that he's done larger structures in a quicker amount of time than what the club want, which is absolutely crazy. But to me, that suggests, surely to God, I mean, we're talking 12 months' time, 13 months' time. Maybe there'll be a chance of them wanting to move the last home fixture and the first home fixture of the subsequent season to maybe accommodate that to get a little bit more time in. But that's quite a quick turnaround, but apparently it can be done. But surely, God, in my mind, I know it's being prefabricated off-site, but surely that means the work's happening now. But then there's a risk factor in that because the environmental impact assessment hasn't been done, sort of no planning, other red tape needs to be signed off and stuff. But the vibe that I got from chatting to people was there's a quiet confidence that this would all be done. So at some point, Tom, you might get an email saying, do you want to move?
I'd be just like, I don't want to change. Yeah, no, it's exciting, mate. It is mad how quickly. But yeah, like you say, obviously they know what they're doing. I've spoken to a few people that have been in that sort of line of work and say that's very doable. Whereas for someone like myself and probably you, I don't understand how they get that done. But obviously they will. So yeah, it's pretty exciting. It might get done quicker than the only worry is if we move them last 2 away games, like the last game when we're going for Europe, or we end up playing our new stadium, Oxford at home.
Yeah, there's a lot of logistical things to think about. I mean, the stadium would need to be rewired in parts for media because it's got to be hardwired so cameras can just basically plug and play, so to speak. There's a lot of sort of logistical things to think about in terms of the accessibility requirements. I know that halfway up that South Stand there's going to be an accessible platform, which means they'll have more elevated views, and hopefully that's going to be quite big to accommodate more people as well. Cool. There's a lot to think about. Also, where do the big screens go? There are a few pictures that seem to sort of suggest that the big screens could be located in the corners of the corners. So we're showing that on screen as well, but I'm sure all of which will be revealed in due course. We also know that phase 2 of the redevelopment includes the expansion of the north and east stands, which is something that I never expected to happen given the proximity to housing. So that's another 3,000 fans across those 2 stands, which probably will involve 8 or 9 rows being put onto the back of each of the stand. This, of course, means that the building needs to go up by 5 metres, but also come back as well. Yeah. And apparently that is about 8 metres, so that means it's closer to the Thistlebarrow Road homes, closer to the homes in Middleton Gardens, just behind the east. Will it impede their light? That's something they're gonna have to look about. There's even one guy that's been on Rightmove on one of the forums that's managed to get some pictures of one of the back gardens of one of these properties, and you can see cantilever roofing in the north stand, and you're sort of thinking that's going to be infilled. That's going to take a bit of light, so hopefully that can be resolved.
It's like people's gardens.
Exactly. I mean, this all the things to think about, but it looks like for the north stand they're going to have some kind of walkway underneath which enables the footfall to be able to get to the places that they need to go, and also they can congregate at half time with a little more weather protection. So just imagine you're in the north stand now having a vape or a smoke or a drink. Where you are now there'll be like a roof over your head, which is quite handy, which means that if it's pissing it down it's absolutely fine. So that'll make it better. Same goes for the East Stand as well, but you'll notice on one of the images, there is part of the back of the East Stand that can't jut out, and that's due to the road access on Middleton Gardens on the right-hand side as we're looking at it. But elsewhere, it looks like there is a bit of weather protection too here, as there is now to some extent. But yeah, a lot to think about. And then the main stand as well is going to be refurbished as well, mate. And I know that you're a huge fan of hospitality, aren't you?
Absolutely.
You've gone to, we've done it together like a few times.
We've actually got a good record.
We have got a quite good record.
But I've never seen us lose.
At the moment, I think there's about 600 places. They're looking to increase that. Not the percentage though, as I think didn't someone have a chat with you in this very place about it once?
Yeah, it's not gonna go up in terms of the percentage or whatever. So yeah, be interesting. I think that's something that fans, rightly or wrongly, think about a lot in terms of the American ownership and what it's been like in America, and the hospitality is a lot of it. But yeah, and I'm sure that things like that will happen and needs to happen. But as long as you keep, your proper fans there, if you want a bit of hospitality, absolutely fine. But not, as long as they're not jumping around here, there and everywhere. Do you know what I mean? It's, it is what it is, mate. But yeah, that'll be something that we'll see as we go, I guess. But in terms of hospitality, like I say, I'm unbeaten. So if you want to offer anything out, I'm unbeaten actually.
And who does it expect to you about the the percentage increase and saying it's not going up?
Oh, it was Bill Foley.
Bill Foley. Have you got his number?
Yeah, he's my mate. We just chat now and again. All right, though. I'm probably meet him later actually for a little now.
Yeah, why not?
He's a good guy. He likes to get a little bit of a voice off.
And I think Jim Favola on the chat with Amy and Chris also did suggest that it's like a lot of acronyms on this, and I didn't know what GA meant, but general admission ticket. So, they do want to.
What did Gareth Ainsworth come in my head?
They do want to add season ticket numbers, which is hugely important. But as a result of the expansion, there will also be an increased GA general admission amount of tickets as well, which is superb as too massively. So. The main stand refurbishment, that's happening already by the sounds of it. You won't see anything on the outside just yet, but you may do towards the end of the season. I think a lot of the offices have been moved to the old training pavilion. I've actually seen some pictures of that, and it looks like they've managed to make excellent progress with that very, very quickly indeed. I think they need to put in like new lifts in the main stand as well, because they've only got one at the moment that can hold about 4, maybe 5 people. They probably need to put in another lift shaft as well to take more people up and down to and from restaurants. Also for people that are watching on the accessible platform just outside the restaurant there as well. Honestly, a lot is going to be done, and it's going to be done very, very quickly. And if the training centre at Camford Magnet is anything to go by, it may be happening quicker than we know it. Now, you know where the training pavilion is at the moment?
I do.
Jim Favola, he's got his office there. There are many other staffers that have. And they look out over those old training pitches. Fans on the forums have been asking what's going to happen to those.
Oh, yeah, I don't think that.
There's apparently they've got a 2-year lease remaining with the council on them. I was thinking maybe that could be used as a temporary compound for when the construction workers move in, perhaps because they've got to put their offices, they could put their machinery somewhere as well. So maybe that will be a place for that to happen. We don't
have a little studio there, maybe.
So some of the results of having a new stadium means that there's more people.
Absolutely.
There needs to be better transport links.
Yeah.
Better roads as well, more buses, but they're also going to keep people behind as well, which hopefully will means the flow of traffic won't be too much stress on the local roads. And look, anyway, even though we've got more people, surely it's a chance for more locals to make money on your parking space and just park, hey?
Absolutely.
Make some money from your driveways. So
you might do that.
It's all happening then. This ownership, mate, they are delivering, aren't they?
They are. They're getting stuff done and very, very quickly as well. And it does feel, it's the speed of everything, really. They've got money and that what their intentions are and they want the club to go, but it's the pace of it. It's very impressive, I think. Bill said a lot of times how he wants to get everything done in, ultra quick time, and that's the way it's going, mate. So, yeah, all exciting times. We're loving, obviously, new season yet to start, but since they've been here, loving what I'm seeing on the pitch, and everything off it is going in the right direction. So yeah, exciting, and just looking forward to just getting back and watching. But the fact we get to watch after one season in that stadium is still quite crazy for me. As I say, I'm only early 30s, but when I first started going, you get 4,000 in there, and you'd just be like, it was almost like going to watch pub tea. If you think about it now, you feel, God, we were tin pot, now we're massive. It's lovely, isn't it? It's lovely, mate. But yeah, really exciting, and just got to embrace it and enjoy it while we can.
Yeah, you have to. One thing that will be clear is that we will not have the smallest stadium in the Premier League. That will go to Brentford. So there you go. Little Brentford. But if they get relegated, maybe we will still have. You never know. But either way, it's going to be great to get more fans through the door, more commercial opportunities. It looks like it's going to be an economical benefit to the area.
I want Brentford to stay out now just so we can sing My Garden Shed's bigger than this when we go there. It's mad, but it's nice. It's something that everyone's been saying for a few years now, that this, and fair play to everyone at the club now. They're getting it done.
What questions have you got? Let us know in the comments, because look, this debate will never end, and we need to have a proper sit down with like more people, probably some of the local media as well, just so we can maybe ponder a few logistical issues with regards to this unbelievable build, which is going to be happening sooner than we know it. So yeah, we are all very excited. Tom, it's been an absolute pleasure.
It's been a pleasure, mate. And I've been thinking the whole time, Darren Standerton.
Up the chest.
Come on, I was thinking the whole time, I was like, what rhymes with Stan?
Grow up.
Darren Standerton. Then it might break.
I love that. Darren
Standerton. Do you remember that other player we had, Michael Standing?
Yeah,
do you remember him?
Yeah.
He's naff, though, wasn't he?
Darren Standerton.
Literally, the whole time you're talking, I was going, don't forget Darren Standerton.
Yeah, that's so good.